It was really fun, very energetic, very entertaining. I thought the message that they shared was an appropriate message for our students to hear right now. Things are kind of challenging for middle school students, and so a lot of the themes that were raised were things that they needed to hear, and it's helpful sometimes to have that message come from people that aren't their parents, aren't their teachers that they see every day. It was fun to see the students as engaged as they are, especially some of the students I don't normally see engaged in school. So some of those in particular were really fun to see participating in the performance. When the singer was sharing his story about growing up and getting mixed up with drugs and alcohol and taking his life off a path that he wanted to be on so that he was no longer in charge of making his choices. I thought that seemed to really resonate with our students, to have a real face behind a story like that and hear how he's turned that around and made different choices so that he's doing something he loves now.
To be in middle school in 2018, there's a lot coming at them.
There is. I think that there are so many things, but a few that come right to mind is social media is a real challenge for our students. They're not quite mature enough to make decisions about what they do on social media responsibly, and sometimes they don't recognize the impact it's going to have on their life in the future. So we work through a lot of challenges with that. Another challenge is the competitiveness of school these days. There's a lot of pressure on our kids to achieve in school and get high marks and do the best they can. And that's not a bad thing, but it's a lot of pressure sometimes for our students.
What do you see as being like a larger potential impact? Say if Music Makes Music gets to more schools, right? Can reach more students. What does that mean for for America, for society? I know that's kind of it's kind of a big picture question, right? But
what can you bring?
Yeah, what is the ripple effect of this, right? That these kids had this experience today. And
well, I think it's a very engaging message. It's delivered in a way that is very relatable to teenage students. So the message is important, but the way it's delivered is also important. And the way this is delivered today was impactful. I think it's also important because sometimes we focus solely on academics as though you're going to college and beyond. And the reality is there's a wide array of options for our students. All of those require that students do well in school. But seeing that there are people who make a career of music is important because I don't know that message always comes through to our students the way it should.
And just music on the whole. I mean, there's a lot of studies about music's benefits on the brain, on development.
Right.
Especially when you look at all of this technology that's coming in, right? What is the value of music?
Well, I think you're alluding to all of that. Music is, it's so complex. And I think sometimes we overlook just what is involved in producing music, in appreciating music. It requires that you pull a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, and synthesize it all at once. So that's going to stretch your brain. It's going to be a complex concept that you have to work through. And that's always what we're shooting for in education. That's that deeper learning that we're shooting for. Anytime that you're pulling complex concepts together and making sense of that in your brain, that's when you're getting the best learning.
So it even just promoting, regardless of the messages around bullying and drugs and alcohol, just the message of, hey, music is good for you, right? Like that's a great message to be bringing into schools, right?
Absolutely.
Is there anything else that you would like to share, knowing that this is just going to be used to raise awareness?
Right.
Anything else you'd like to say about why this is important? You know, why it's important to kids, why it's important to our country, why it's important to, this is about future generations, right? What are the kids who are in today's show? This may shift something for them in inspiring them to pursue their dreams, or it may help them shift their course a little bit.
Yeah, you never know who you're going to reach on a daily basis. That's the beauty of education. So having an additional way, an additional lens to communicate possibilities for their future, that's always going to be beneficial, because you don't know who you're going to reach on a daily basis. So I hope we reach some new ones today.
Mm-hmm. Beyond social media, there are some big challenges that some students are facing, right?
Yeah.
And the typical means of getting to them may not work, right?
True.
So especially for them, this kind of event could be very, very effective, right?
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
And when you're getting to the deeper challenges, it's very true that we never know what a student's bringing with them to school. And we have a lot of students that deal with a lot of challenging things in their lives. So we're always looking for ways to reach those students so that we can help make their lives better. That's the point of education. And so I do appreciate Music Makes Music coming in so that we can have an additional way that we approach students and hope that we can help them through those tough times.